FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, with the severe shortage of vaccines, is there a case for the use of other treatment options? In the second watch, examining and evaluating the ENDS experiment. For our social media question, we ask, what's your view of the ENDS experiment? Share your responses on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM, and also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125, using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
This morning's I quote. Always read stuff that will make you look good if you die in the middle of it. Really?
Good morning, Giovanni.
Good morning, Graham. How are you?
I am doing well, quite an interesting quote there.
Quite interesting.
I make no comments about it.
Likewise.
By the way, Giovanni, how did you manage the bun and cheese over the Easter period?
You know, I had one serving. That's all I had. A serving of butter and cheese.
And you're okay?
I'm very well. I can't.
Yeah? You're sure?
I am actually.
Well, you don't like butter and cheese that much, you know?
No, I'm sort of watching my intake these days, you know? Yeah.
You're watching the weight, Giovanni?
I am. I have to.
Okay, my brother. Keep it up, eh?
That's right.
The first watch will be back after this break.
And the Morning Watch today is brought to you by Spectrum Insurance.
For all your insurance needs, visit Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited. We offer motor vehicle insurance, group life and health insurance, individual and group life pension. We also insure against fire, burglary, personal accidents, and so much more. Visit one of our offices today in Kingston or Mandeville. Call us at 876-926-3572. That's 876-926-3572. Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards.
Look out for the poor. Share a meal. Help a child with a textbook, whatever you can. If you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, says Proverbs 19, verse 17. Let's work together to make Jamaica a gentler, kinder society. A message from the Church of the Open Bible, 12 Washington Boulevard. Join in our worship service Sundays at 8 a.m. right here on Love 101.
Jamaica. Our way of life is being affected, but our path to progress is not. Flow has continued to build its network infrastructure to prepare for times like these, to ensure that your connections to everything important are strong and reliable. And if you are a current Flow Home Service customer, upgraded services may be available in your area. Learning from home is smarter, and working from home is stronger than ever. I am Stephen Price, Country Manager of Flow, and this is our commitment. The strength of the Flow network is yours and ready when you need it. Visit your nearest Flow store or discoverflow.co. It is our privilege to serve you.
If you're a farmer or a fisher folk, this one's for you. Sagicor AgriCare Plan. With AgriCare Plan, you can get affordable insurance coverage for you and your family. Life insurance, critical illness coverage, and health insurance for as little as $3,900 every 3 months. Visit your nearest RADA or fisheries office or text AgriCare to 876-322-2384 to apply. Farmers and fisher folk, Get the insurance coverage your family deserves today with Sagicor AgriCare Plan.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, with the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases and hospitalization, the MAJ has called for the inclusion of an additional drug known as ivermectin, which it believes will help with the management of patients. Now, while the nation rejoices in the fact that COVID vaccination has begun in earnest, the supply is still woefully short. Against this backdrop, is the call from the MAJ reasonable and justifiable? Well, to answer this and other related questions, we have online Dr. Maurice Guy, opposition spokesman on health, and Dr. Garth Ratch, family physician. Good morning, doctors.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good morning,
morning.
Garth.
Morning,
Good
Maurice.
to have both of you with us this morning. Doctors, before we delve into a discussion on the other treatment options for COVID-19, I just want to ask you for your commendations or concerns re the availability and rollout of the vaccines in Jamaica so far. Begin with you, Dr. Guy.
Well, my concerns / commendations are publicly known, because our view from the opposition standpoint is that the micro details or the details of the rollout of the vaccine were not originally available, and in fact they aren't now too. And we see a situation where the government, the Ministry of Health, has excluded many of the private physicians from the process of doing the vaccination, which we think is critical, because whether one wants to admit it or not, the reach of the private physicians in this country is very far, and they are complementary to the public health system in this country. And I think that part of the measure that the government should have instituted from day one is to co-opt the private medical practitioners in this process. Secondly, as it relates to the whole the vaccination program, we're on record as saying that we did not think, and still do not, that the vast majority of the 10,000 plus JDF soldiers should be part of the program, except for those who are vaccination program as the first phase, except for those who are probably involved in the first line as first line treatment workers. But we also feel that the utilization of the route of going 75 and over as one of the first priorities is critical. Critical in the sense that they are the ones who have the greatest morbidities and the greatest mortalities we have seen so far. And when you consider that over the past, if you look at the past preceding 2-week period, we have had significant deaths of persons. We had 53, then 70, then 86, and I'm talking 2-week intervals going back. Coming forward, 53, 70, 86, which is the latest number of the past 14 days. And when you look at the numbers, you see that the elderly with comorbid conditions are those. So those are my opening statements for now.
Dr. Ratri?
Yes, sir.
Commendations, concerns?
Okay, with the vaccines, I'm concerned about the availability, as everybody knows, because we get into small amounts. I understand the worldwide problem with the large countries hogging it, but it worries me, and I think the government knows, because if people got the vaccine, they'll realize the AstraZeneca is best given the second dose near to 3 months after the first one. But they're telling you 8 weeks. So the reason for that, I think, because I figure they're figuring if you come at the 3 months deadline, they might have any to give you at that time, because they give you a little leeway, a little play in when they give it to you. Because if you go 2 months after, they say, well, okay, we'll have it now, come back 2 weeks' time. I'm thinking, because all the things I've read said it's best to be given nearer to 3 months. So I think the government is aware of the fact that they could have a problem getting the vaccines on time. I know that people have been sort of volunteering to help to buy the vaccines. I don't know if anybody's actually taking up the offers, but we need to do something about it because that's very important. Next thing about the rollout, that is I'm upset about this thing because it's very ad hoc and that's very bad because you have to have public confidence that people will know that you are serious about this thing and you're doing things right. Right now, the system has just totally broken down. Yeah, I mean,
Totally.
the rollout. What I mean is that if they go somewhere and people aren't there to take all the vaccines, they just call anybody. From that point of view, there is no order anymore, no regimentation. They just call us, come, let's get it. Look what happened the other day at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody went there and then they had to stop people because there's a large head of a crowd, line going out. So I'm a little bit, I don't understand what's happening because they have lists. And I've said it before in public, go to the lists, look at who is next in line and call those people. Don't put out anybody can come along as you're on, just calling people like that. So from a point of view of the public psychology, you're thinking to yourself, the government's not organized, right? You have to have proper ways of doing things. So the vaccines need to be accessed more. If you want to help to buy it, I'll even contribute, help to buy it, do so, get it from us, whatever source you can. And one more thing, sorry to take up so much time. I don't see the public awareness campaign rolling out when it went to be rolled out because I don't see anything to really encourage. If I wasn't already on the side of getting the vaccine, I don't see anything there to tell me you should get the vaccine unless I'm missing everything. With this big public campaign to say you need to get the vaccine, I don't see it. So if not now, when? You know what I mean? So they need to get the idea as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Dr. Guy, Dr. Ratchi mentioned a while about the AstraZeneca. What is your understanding, Dr. Guy, of the concerns raised worldwide with the use of it, and how can you help to make our citizens feel a little bit more relaxed in having it put into their arms?
Well, the concerns that have been raised about the clotting disorders. First of all, the initial concerns that were raised with AstraZeneca turned out to have been a political consideration in the European Union. The reality, however, is that the concern about the clotting, which is the major concern right now, is not statistically that important for us to not administer the dose. The reality is that the benefits of having the vaccine far outweigh any risks that are demonstrable right now. And in terms of the second part of the question that you have asked, I have had the challenges with my constituents as well, speaking as an MP and as a doctor. And many have asked questions as to whether they should take the vaccine, whether their comorbid conditions would allow them to take the vaccine. And I said, well, the reality is that your comorbid condition, if you get COVID, will give you serious consequences and possibly death. So I think you should take the vaccine. And the other part of it is that I've said, I have taken mine. I have taken mine almost 3 weeks ago. So the reality is that this is part of what we and the opposition had proposed too earlier, is that we should have, when the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health were delaying their vaccinations, we said that we did not agree with that. We did not agree with all parliamentarians getting that first, but we said that the leaders in this country, the Governor General, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Health, and the opposition leader should get it so that they can serve as role models for the members of the community who look to people for this. And I say
1 minute, Dr. Guy, why AstraZeneca over the other brands?
Okay, AstraZeneca over the other brands is that AstraZeneca is the one that is most readily available. It was what is provided under the COVAX facility with the WHO, PAHO, WHO facility. And secondly, it is one of those that has, in terms of cost, it is one of the cheaper ones, which is affordable by the country. But let us not look at just what some of the manufacturers say about their efficacy in terms of percentage protection.
Sorry, Dr. Guy, we're on to a break. Just hold that thought, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Jamaica Banana Board, Green Gold, Life Health, and the Environment. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Banana Board is
7:15 on the Family Station, Love 101.
Only Flow gives you everything you want in every plan. Unlimited local calls and texts, plus unlimited data for the apps you really want, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and WhatsApp. No other network comes close. Flow has plans from 2 to 30 days, and every plan has everything you want. Dial *129 *6 numbers and to activate your 7-day plan with everything you want for only $675. Conditions apply.
Entrepreneurs, now you've got more support in your corner. Introducing Sagicor Bank Business Resource Center, where entrepreneurs benefit from free training in business management, financial support and guidance from pros, as well as research capabilities. Sagicor Bank, in partnership with the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, brings you this first center of its kind for small entrepreneurs to develop and grow. Let's help you take your business to the next level of success. Contact Sagicor Bank Business Resource Center today. WhatsApp 876-997-3745.
You are the buzz, 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 buzz. You are the zing, 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 zing. You are the. You are the click, 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 click. You are the pop, pop, pop. You are the I in Jamaica. So keep fizzing for the love of it. Pepsi.
Tropical Race 4 disease, TR4, is a soil-borne disease that has the potential to wipe out the Jamaican banana and plantain crops. Farmers and visitors must disinfect shoes and tools before entering farms daily. If your banana or plantain crops seem to be wilting, call the Banana Board at 876-922-5490 or 876-922-4327. Jamaica Banana Board, Green Gold, Life Health, and the Environment.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this morning we are asking, is there a case for the use of other treatment options in light of the severe shortage of vaccines? We have online Dr. Maurice Guy, Opposition Spokesman on Health, and Dr. Garth Rattray, Family Physician. Dr. Guy, before the break, you were explaining to us why AstraZeneca and not the other.
Yes, and I'm saying that in terms of AstraZeneca, it is the most widely available one. Secondly, we were getting, the first set of vaccines we got were out of the Serum Institute of India, and they are the largest vaccine manufacturers in the world, their output. So whereas there are other areas or other countries that produce AstraZeneca vaccine, I think our position regarding AstraZeneca was initially informed by WHO. Secondly, in terms of the COVAX facility, that is, and secondly, by the availability. Most of the others, in terms of Jamaica, Pfizer, which requires a higher temperature, a lower temperature for storage, would not be ideal for us, although I understand that provisions are being made in some quarters for that. But the reality is that we would not have that. Moderna is quite expensive. Turns out about $30 per dose. And that
AstraZeneca is how much per dose?
About $4 to $5 per dose.
Wow.
Right. And Johnson & Johnson, I understand we are getting some through the procurement from National Health Fund, and that turns out to be about twice AstraZeneca, which is 10, but then AstraZeneca at 2 doses would work out to 10, just the same as Johnson & Johnson with 1 dose.
Thanks for clearing that up, sir. Dr. Rattray?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what really is ivermectin, and why is there such a strong and strident call from a number of your colleagues for it to be given the nod by the Ministry of Health?
Okay, well, ivermectin was discovered to be used as, it's against parasites about 3 decades ago. But they found something in regions where it was used extensively, that people get night blindness and elephantiasis and so on. They had a lower viral rates, and they found that it interferes with a certain mechanism where the virus gets into your cells. So they said, oh. So they tried to see if it would work for COVID. In the lab, it worked great, but they were concerned about the amount you would need in a human being. I mean, the dose would be so high, but they found that is not really true. Unfortunately, one of our respected institutions put out a press release taken from one place that showed one poor outcome measure when you have a lot more positive outcome measures. But I think the government is being very cautious because they cannot repurpose the medication just like that on their own. The drug company has to say, well, okay, like with Viagra, they had to repurpose it, right? And they can't say, okay, use it off label, because they cannot say those things. What they can do, what we want them to do, is make it very available for use for worms, and let us decide, because it is here in Ireland, you know, and because it's of the supply and demand, it's some exorbitant prices, up to $3,000 per tablet, right? And you could need as much as 12.
What's the recommended dosage re-COVID?
That's the next thing now. For human beings, it should be about 0.2 milligrams per kilogram per day. But people use 0.4 sometimes. Well, if for prophylaxis, where it works best, that means trying to avoid the disease, you take it day 1, day 3, and then every week, once a week after that, once a week. It doesn't sound too bad. If the person actually infected, yes, that's until your vaccine kicks in, really. Right, that's for prophylaxis. If, or until like a herd immunity, if the person is infected, early treatment is the same dose, but given for 5 days straight, and then twice a week after that, and then once a week after that. So there's a protocol, but I would just say something. I understand, and I have some proof that they're trying it in hospitals for very severe cases. People have to sign for it. But it's not. Yeah. I won't call it hospital because I have it on my phone. The person who got it, he sent a name to me. Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's not really official. Don't get me wrong, it's not official. But in the late stages, that's not going to work very well at that time. But we are hoping they will actually release it, because right now we're having a lot of high prices. We might end up getting fake products, you know what this world is like. So just to say, okay, let us open it up, bring it in. And in fact, some countries have been brave enough to bring it in on a humanitarian and emergency measures. I don't expect us to be that brave, because we're not a very brave country that kind of way. But the fact of the matter is that they should just bring it in and say, okay, everybody wants to import it. The price will go down, and they get doctors regulating it. Right now, people are taking even the animal version, because people go online and say these things.
Here, Dr. Ratchet, let me just get it clear. Is it to be, is the recommendation that it be used in lieu of the vaccine?
No. Good point to bring it up, sir. No, it's like a bridge, because once I get my other dose of vaccine, if I were taking it, which I'm not now, once I get a dose of vaccine, that's it. I'm going to stop. If I get infected with the vaccine, which would not be, if you're infected with the vaccine, it's unlikely you will get very ill or go to hospital. So vaccines are not to really stop it, you know. It's to bring down the likelihood of getting very sick or going to hospital, right? It's like a regular cold. Right. I might take it just to make double sure, but the fact of the matter is that once you get the vaccine, you won't need to take it, right? But it's between now and when you get the vaccine. If you get sick, early stages sick, it's best to be with at that time.
Interesting. Dr. Guy, what's the opinion, the view of your party in this regard?
Well, you know, I'm glad you asked the question, because the reality is that even prior to the Medical Association coming out and asking for it was towards the middle to the 3rd week in February. We, as the opposition, called for it on the 28th of January at one of the COVID joint select committees in the Parliament, and we asked the government, the minister, the CMO, and her technical team, what was the position and the position of the government regarding use of ivermectin in light of the studies we've been hearing from abroad in terms of its efficacy. The reply by the ministry was that they are guided by WHO, and that WHO has not given its formal seal of approval yet. But what is interesting is that a study coming out of the States, not a study, a report, is that National Institute of Health has basically revised their position from one where they were against it to a position of neutrality right now, nothing for or against it. which suggests to us that those scientists have recognized that there is something. In fact, they went on further to say that further studies are needed. But I agree with Garth. We are in a position right now where if there's any promising drug that shows some amount of efficacy in the treatment of COVID, it is not it or the vaccine. As he said, it's a whole in measure. It's a whole in measure until we are fully vaccinated and the country has reached herd immunity. I want to make a commentary on one of the points that Garth made earlier as it relates to the 8th week as the 12th week. Initially, you will recall that WHO and AstraZeneca came out and said that 8 weeks was the second dose period. But the British found that you get a better protection and the percentage is increased when you did it at 12 or 13 weeks. And I think where you can get the best option, that is where you should go for, you know. So that is where it is. We are concerned about the supply of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and the ministry took the decision earlier on that of the 44,000 doses that they got, the 40,000 doses they got initially from India and the 14 from COVAX, that they would pull out and give to the 64,000 they had, they would go full out and give to the population. Sorry, 50 and 14,000. Now, there was a concern because we did not know when the second dose was coming, and based on the supply and demand, and particularly in light of the fact that the Indian government has taken the decision now to suspend the export of any AstraZeneca or any vaccine from the country until they can satisfy their domestic demands. The concern was that when would the second dose for those who have started get it? Now, with the announcement by the minister that 75,000 doses are coming this evening, right, and they're en route, you know, I will be like Doubting Thomas to wait until it arrives to start to sing about it, because the truth is that we have been given many promises before, and I know that our National Health Fund people have been working very hard to try and procure, but I'm also concerned that there was a report this morning in the papers that the chairman said that there are many people around there, out there, suitcase men, trying to sell vaccines to the country. And sometimes, as God said a while ago, you might not know you, but they might get in counterfeit vaccines or counterfeit drugs and treatment, because we have many Shylocks out there.
Yes. Dr. Rattray, we're in the closing minutes of our segment. There are those who argue about or argue for options like herbal medicine and homemade treatments like steam inhalation. What are your views on those?
Well, honestly, I'm not really one for trying those things. However, I tell you something, you know, when they do the swab and they push it up in your nose, that's where little things are ensconced, right? So if you could steam them out or use menthol crystals, I would rather say menthol crystals, which seems to disrupt them, you may reduce your viral load. I'm saying may because I don't know, and the authorities say they don't know either. But if you said steam, I would say use menthol crystals in the steam rather than vitamin D is always a yes for me. Zinc, yes. Vitamin C, yes. But the steam thing, I'd rather use menthol crystals.
And you're saying herbal medicine, you're saying from that?
I would say far from it, because I don't know much about it, so it's not fair for me to comment on the efficacy of herbal medication. But I wouldn't want to hang my life on herbal medication. That's not the way I'm trained. Right? They need more proof for me to say yes.
Okay. Dr. Guy, you have the last word.
Well, I'm not a herbalist, and I will say I ditto with Garth in respect of that. But I think, if I may have the last word, the challenge that confront us a country right now is critical. And I am going to, as I'm sure Garth has been doing, and I've read his articles, imploring our countrymen to continue observing the protocols until we reach that particular point, which is herd immunity, and even beyond, because this is a novel virus and every day we're learning something new about it. the reality is that the mask wearing is critical, the physical distancing is critical, the prevention of having the dances and the party and the beach party and all of those are important because
Thank you, sir.
with this we will get through.
And thank you very much, doctors. Keep up the good work.
Welcome. Okay, cool.
Morning watch. I'll return in just a moment.
Okay, Maurice, cool.
Yeah, man.
JN Bank Live Online Banking is your quick and easy banking that's safe and secure. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank will help you find a way. The time is
7:30, folks, on The Sound of Love.
Hi there. I'm Barry Williams. I'm Managing Director of Barry Williams and Associates. We're training consultants. We have provided training to some of the largest companies in Jamaica, including the Bank of Jamaica, JN Bank, JDF Cooperative Credit Union, and Edicom Cooperative Credit Union. We will be happy to train your staff and have them giving quality performance every time. In short, they will become experts at what they are doing. We may be contacted at 876-330-1902. That's 876-330-1902. Or email barrygwilliams@gmail.com. That is barrygwilliams@gmail.com. Send your staff to us. We'll have them performing in a quality manner and they will become experts at what they do. Thank you very much.
There are a million reasons to want to own a home.
I want more space for the children.
I am tired of paying rent. My wife and I want an investment. Go from future plans to keys in hand with an NCB mortgage. Get rates as low as 6.95%, 100% financing, and up to 40 years to repay. Plus, get the life insurance and home insurance you need all in one place. Visit myhome.jncb.com to get started. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Well, let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Gleaner, vaccine scammers, fraudsters court NHF with pot of gold scheme. Wow. And then, maths crisis looms as trainee teachers shun subject. We also see in the Gleaner, trial postponed for Coke Clan and others. In the Observer, man who made phone call threatening woman is charged. And farmers are to benefit from 30 million passion fruit project. And one more from the Observer, the children's advocate wants special provision for minors in conflict in the NIDS Act. Those are some of the major headlines in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question. What's your view of the ENDS experiment? Please leave a comment on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We will be right back.
Here is a reminder from Love 101, the family station, as we face the COVID-19 pandemic. Masks are effective only when used in combination with frequent hand cleaning with soap and water or alcohol-based solutions. Wear a mask that is lined with 2 or more layers. When taking it off, ensure you dispose of it properly. I'm Nigel Wilkinson from Love 101, reminding you to protect yourself while protecting others. Stay safe and keep it locked on Love 101, the family station.
You're invited to listen to Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. We'll give you tips on how to make your money count, how to save, and how to grow your worth. It's all inside Dollars and Cents, brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. That's Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And as we go into the second watch, we're going to be looking now at the ENDS initiative. Now, the e-commerce national delivery solution, known as ENDS, E-N-D-S platform, probably had its greatest reviews coming out of the national lockdown over the past weekend. And the most recent reports have come with rave reviews. But was it really as successful as these reports state? And what is the way forward? Is the initiative going to be regularized? Well, to discuss these and other related issues, we have joined us this morning Senator Matthew Samuda, Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, and Mr. Donovan Wignall, President of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Alliance. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Rev.
Morning.
morning, Mr. Wignall. How are you doing? And morning to your listeners.
Great.
Hi, morning. Morning, Matthew.
Senator Samuda. For the record, sir, what really is ENDS? And we know it is the e-commerce national delivery system, but what is the significance of the acronym ENDS?
All right. At the very beginning of the pandemic in Jamaica, the Prime Minister has been very clear that we would seek to balance lives with livelihoods. We are very clear that the statistical impact when we discuss GDP, declines because of the COVID restrictions and because of, global trade, etc., have hurt our small and medium and indeed micro businesses perhaps more disproportionately than others. So whereas mechanisms do exist for many large businesses for business continuity, when you put in COVID restrictions such as lockdowns or tightened curfews, we have been looking for a mechanism to facilitate business continuity, especially for our quick service businesses, many of which are small and micro businesses. But we've been looking for a way to do it in a manner that we believe doesn't contribute to COVID spread, doesn't make the enforcement of these measures harder on our security forces. And in multiple conversations with the PSOJ and the government of Jamaica, the result that has come forward is the ENDS pilot. And I want to continue to reiterate that we're still in pilot phase. And, persons would say, but, the last lockdown comes this weekend. But we would also say that, curfews and particular restrictions are, going to be with us for a period until our vaccination numbers certainly outstrip our infection and hospitalization numbers. Mm-hmm. So we're not in a place where we can kind of, loosen the screw in a particular manner. But we have to have business continuity because, we would have all seen an article, even the Observer this morning about St. Vincent, who would have had particular stricter measures. We don't want that sort of economic situation coming to our shores. And we understand that the economy is made up of small and micro businesses. So we believe that this mechanism will foster the growth of what was a small undercurrent of a delivery economy, but we believe it can be much bigger. So we believe it can create growth even beyond COVID. And we believe that this is the beginning of what we would consider a culture of fulfillment, where you have micro and small businesses getting into the logistics chain, where they're able to connect with consumers that they wouldn't be able to, and they're able to compete on an even platform.
Yeah. Before I throw a question to Mr. Wignall, how is it different, though, Senator, from the regular pizza deliveries that we have been accustomed to over the years? Is it only related to food?
No, so it's not only related to food. Quick service industries, when we think quick service, food industry is an ambassador for quick service. But within quick service, you have other goods and services. The supermarkets are indeed coming on board with food and personal care products. You have pharmacies coming on board to be able to fulfill prescriptions. We are in conversations with the labs who do COVID testing to facilitate them being able to continue COVID testing even on the weekends, especially because we know testing is critically important to be able to curtail the spread. Once we know who has it, we're better able to treat and treat early as well. So it's not limited to them. There's logistics support that has to go back into it. If you think of it, the fact that over 2,000 Jamaicans benefited either because they got additional shifts from some of the businesses that they work, or because as single sole traders, their business was able to operate just in the pilot project over the last week. And I think that should tell you the space that we're in.
Okay. Mr. Wignall, what role or part, if any, did your organization play in the planning, the consultations in regards to end?
Well, we were a part of we were early in the discussions, and of course, we were, and of course, one of the major pillars of the platform is inclusivity, and that was established very early, that the people at the lower end of the economy, the micro businesses especially, and of course you would have heard the example of the pan chicken man being used as the least common denominator. Not that it's least important, but actually it's most important that the people at the lower economy, street food people, the couriers, that are now very integral in the process, very integral in the logistics of the process. They're involved to a great extent. And of course, that particular sector is now in expansion mode. It's now in growth mode, simply because a lot more people will be needed to deliver the food to, or not just food, but as Senator Samuda quite eloquently stated, simply everything from pharmaceuticals to market supplies, which I see that's happening where I live, where people are actually delivering grown food and produce and all of that. But definitely we're in the early stages. We pretty much made sure that it was inclusive, and that was definitely done. And I think it's working so far. Our role now, I think, of course, and I could just literally tape Senator Samuda and replay that, and you'll get a full a full description of how the thing operates. He does a very good job of stating.
So your organization is completely, totally on board.
Absolutely, and for more reasons than one. Business continuity is important, and that is one of the most important things for me. The small business in the earlier parts of the pandemic would have suffered greatly because they wouldn't have been able to do any business at all when there's a curfew or a lockdown. A lot of them operate after 6, after regular business hours. But now we see that they can still do their business. They're actually employing more people, and they're actually making a lot more money because they have an expanded marketplace, an expanded clientele. People from anywhere in their particular geographic location don't have to leave the house, but just order from them, and the food is being delivered seamlessly. So definitely we are 100% on board, and wherever possible we try to herald the benefits of the system and encourage people to sign up.
Senator Samuda, walk us through then the process from desire, I want to call it that, desire of the customer, to delivery to the customer. And what are some of the major challenges so far along the way, from your perspective, sir?
Well, I think it's important to just a little bit further describe exactly what the program is, because there has been some ambiguity, and especially with a pilot where we haven't pumped a lot into public education yet, in terms of, heavy expense, just we're trying to get the system right first. There is some ambiguity. First of all, the system is two things. The system is a registry and a directory. On the registry side, this is where businesses, whether on the delivery node or the e-commerce node, or in the actual good and service provision sector, will be able to apply to operate outside of COVID hours. These businesses will be reviewed by their municipality, to make sure that all of their license fees are in place, the SDC, and indeed the constabulary force. With regards to the transport operators, those obviously will also be reviewed by the transport authority, just to ensure that this is a benefit to those businesses which are compliant. Because we know that things are tough, so the businesses that have made the effort to be compliant, those are the ones that should see the benefit first, and it encourages people to come out of the grey economy and into the light and see the benefit of e-commerce and delivery, as some of the small and micro businesses are already seeing.
Senator, I'm so sorry, we are at a break. Could you just hold that thought? We'll be right back.
Sure.
The time by the Ministry of Health. Healthy people, healthy environment is
7:45 on the Sound of Love.
JN Money Card. Send the money. More withdraw in a hurry. JN Money Card free. With your TRN and your ID. And when me not walk with cash, me just swipe like that. From abroad to card. Get the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. JN Money Card sent from abroad. JN Money Card.
Available at JN Money locations across Jamaica. Conditions apply.
Get ready for the lockdown with more gifts from Digicel. This weekend only, get everything you want and an extra 2 gigs of any use data when you activate a 7-day Digicel Prime Broadband bundle for only $675. Enjoy unlimited YouTube, social media, and local calls. You also get 49 gigabytes for more sports, music, and movies on Digi apps, plus 2 extra gigs on top of the 2 gigabytes of any use data. Yay!
Get it all when you activate the new 7-day Digicel Prime Broadband bundle in the My Digicel app. Limited time offer.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
You're invited to listen to Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. We'll give you tips on how to make your money count, how to save, and how to grow your worth. It's all inside Dollars and Cents, brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. That's Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and we are examining and evaluating the ENDS initiative. We have online Mr. Donovan Wignall and Senator Matthew Samuda. Senator Samuda, before the break, you were saying giving us some more details about the ENDS initiative.
All right, so I'd gone through the registration part, which we expect to be able to open either today or tomorrow to the public, to the wider public within the 3 parishes which we've started, and we expect to early in the next week be able to announce, increased access to the program throughout the rest of the country. But beyond that, so that registry is what I discussed. Now the directory, because I think this part is where people haven't gotten it. The directory simply publishes the web links to all of these businesses for people to be able to order. The government does not participate in any other transactions. The government does not charge for the publishing of any of these businesses that have been approved on the website. The government simply makes the information available to consumers for the businesses that are approved to operate outside of the space. Now, persons will say, well, how did that pan-chicken man get on board? Several e-commerce providers are in the field now signing up our micro and small businesses for persons that would have been very hesitant about this sort of program before. And we simply provide the links to these businesses. So it's an inclusive program. Any e-commerce provider.
Senator Samuda.
Sorry, I went on mute by accident. Sorry about that.
Yes.
I'm not sure where you lost me.
Any e-commerce provider.
That's what directory though.
Yeah, any e-commerce provider. That's your last words.
Oh, so it's an equitable program. Any e-commerce provider, any transport provider, any business that is compliant within their municipality will be able to access the system. And it's something that we believe is a critical program to go along the process of engaging our small and micro businesses. We believe it's a critical program to ensure and to encourage compliance with the laws of the land. And we believe it is something that will benefit Jamaica and small and micro businesses, particularly long after COVID.
Are there concerns about tax compliance, TRN, and so on, in regards to the directory, those who would be on the directory?
So the compliance that we focused on have really been more at the local level, related to trade licenses and vending fees, signage permits, that sort of thing, public health certificates, that sort of issue. We haven't sought to put it in a manner that it becomes prohibitive, especially for the micro and small businesses. No, as they will find as they grow, the interest that the tax administration has in them will also grow. But that's a part of doing business anywhere in the world. What we need to do is get them to the system. And I said, to me, that's a good problem. When a small business gets on the radar of the TAJ and they start to get into filing and their own systems, it is because they're growing. Yeah. So that's not something we should shy away from or be worried about. We should continue to grow our micro and small businesses so that they do get into the space to contribute to nation building.
Right. Mr. Wignall, I'm hearing about delivery and service charges. Just yesterday, I'm sure on a program I was listening to, somebody paid for something for $900, and all told it would have been $1,900 when you add everything, service delivery charge and everything. What's going on with that?
All right, so my practical experience with that, because I also test the system, and the vendors, you have a few vendors, couple of vendors that adds a service charge to their invoices. And this does not go to the government in any way, shape, or form. It actually goes to the account of the vendor. In this situation, I expect that the consumer would use their right of choice. If it is that a particular vendor is hiking up their prices and adding a service charge to it, then you simply just don't use them. And I saw a 20% charge on one of my invoices. It was like $6,000, and there was a 20% service charge in addition to the $6,000 order. And I called the place and spoke to them, and they're saying it's a service charge. And I just decided that I'm not going to buy from that vendor again. It was a well-established company. But many restaurants are on the platform for days. So you can literally choose what you want. So if you don't like what you see on an invoice, or if you don't like a particular service from a particular vendor, you have the right to choose elsewhere. But there's something that I would like to also mention. Now, Senator Samuda comes from the Ministry of National Security. The platform is actually very security conscious. You would have heard Minister Samuda speak about the vetting and the validation of the people who are providing the delivery service. Now, that concern was raised, and the vetting process for people who are going to be delivered actually is very, very strict and stringent. You would have seen the Commissioner of Police on the road looking at checking a bearer's delivery bona fides. And that's a part of the system that I really like. You're not going to have just anybody rolling up to your house who was not vetted and validated. The system actually is very, very secure.
Yeah, but there's some concern about security still, even though you mentioned that, because we heard of robbery taking place with some of the delivery men or women.
Well, I don't know if Senator Sam would have more details on that, but I know it didn't have to do with anybody who was delivering. It was people that was harassing some of the delivery guys during the lockdown. But I think Senator Samuda might have more details on that.
All right. So you had 2 incidents that I'm aware of, right? One at a business place, one involving a delivery rider who was being harassed. We think it's important to note that one of the major tenets of this project is that it promotes cashless business. So we believe that significantly reduces the security risk. But I also need to put that at 2 single incidents, now upwards of several thousand transactions, that's a very low incident rate, and
Absolutely.
lower than the normal incident rate during normal business hours in Jamaica. So it's a program thus far that, from a security standpoint, hasn't caused us much of a headache, which is why we're taking the time to plan it properly and to extend it into areas in a phased manner that doesn't cause the police additional challenges, and certainly doesn't put the business operators at any undue risk. Now, security anywhere in the world, there are challenges in every single country in the world for the delivery players in the economy.
Yeah, and persons are wondering, what if somebody is hijacked? I mean, and they put on the uniform, the clothes, whatever, of the delivery person, and that becomes another security issue, wouldn't it?
So the barcode attached to each person's approval is scannable by the police, and that shows the ID of the person that is operating. One of the reasons why we haven't just exempted all riders, exempted all quick service businesses, is specifically that. Once you've reduced the number of people on the road, it creates a different security challenge. So you really only want persons who are vetted and verified on the road when there's, not additional eyes and not additional traffic, so people are at least coy and shy about doing it or conducting any criminal enterprise. The real strength from it will come from businesses themselves seeing the benefits of also doing their own screening in terms of who they allow to get involved on their own platform. A pan chicken man or a fish vendor, or the juice blended vendor in Portmore, who is also on the system, shouldn't want to have anybody riding for them. It only undermines their own business growth as well. So as they partner with other entities, even at the micro level, I'm sure people aren't going to undermine their own interests, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. But there are concerns I'm gathering in regards to storage in transit and hygiene. Some people are saying their food, when it arrives, it's cold. And they have some concern about hygiene, especially in this COVID era. Mr. Wigner?
Well, the food comes in sealed bags. So the one that I received came with 2 seals on it. And I think that's as secure as it can get, even without the ENDS platform. Prior to the ENDS platform being implemented, that was a concern. And I know that in the marketplace now, the restaurants who are catering to delivery customers are putting seals on the bags. A lot of riders have the bags that the carriers that keep the food warm. It is insulated. I'm seeing a lot of that. So as things pick up, as the system gets more and more used, you're gonna have those kind of facilities being put in place to further ensure that we have warm meals delivered. Not that it's not in place now, but it's gonna grow, and that the food containers that come with the meals are sealed. And if that seal is broken, then I suppose there's gonna be another set of procedures between the seller and the buyer to rectify that matter. But they are coming in sealed bags.
Okay. As we wrap, Senator Samuda, what really is the end game for ENDS? What are its objectives going forward? Will it continue after the pandemic? Mr. Samuda, Senator?
All right. So
what forms ENDS takes remains to be seen, right? What we want beyond the pandemic is a culture of fulfillment, where small and micro businesses, because they've connected into varying e-commerce platforms, develop their own reputation of being able to fulfill the orders of consumers. We believe that innovation like this adds new chains of business, adds new parts to the consumption pattern, and we believe will trigger economic growth. And once there's economic growth that includes your small and micro businesses, you will get the sort of social cohesion that you seek in a society. I mean, when I saw small businesses putting out now hiring tweets last weekend in the middle of a lockdown, in the middle of a pandemic, that's the sort of thing that gives you the hope and tells you you're on the right path. Now, is
absolutely
not. Is this going to improve the lives of Jamaica? Absolutely. And working with people like the PSOJ, working with Mr. Wigner, and working with all stakeholders, the vendors association, the police, the municipalities, and indeed yourself at the media to bring light to these new initiatives. Yeah, I believe we will get there.
All right. Good. We have to leave it there. Sorry, Mr. Wignall wanted to get the last word in, but we are totally out of time.
Yeah, man, no problem. Senator Samuda eloquently described that.
All right. Want to thank you both for joining us, gentlemen. Stay safe. Eh?
All right.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us.
Yeah, man.
For information, how to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. Please join Mr. Stokely Marshall next week as he continues to look at the issues of the day. I am Dylan Toussaint, reminding you to be purposeful, faithful, thankful, and watchful as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Shavani Blair.
Thank you, listeners. You're tuned to Love 101 FM, the family station. It's now 8 o'clock, and it's time for the program Forward in Faith, brought to you